Welcome to Process to Profitability, a podcast all about the tools and strategies you need to serve your clients and grow your small business, hosted by me, Samantha Mabe of Lemon and the Sea. Join me as I chat with creative entrepreneurs and small business owners about how they built and grew their businesses and how you can do the same in a way that fits you. Let's get started. You're listening to episode 114 of Process to Profitability. Today, I'm talking about creating a community around a product with Skye, Amundsen, and Mallory Mascoli from hope&plum. We jump into talking about the community they've created around their ring slings, including how they've decided to start their business with a community focus. We also talk about how they've fostered such a supportive environment inside their community, and they give us a behind-the-scenes look at how everything is run and the people who help them out. Skye and Mallory also share how they use their community to promote their launches, including their largest ever launch yet. If you have a product or service and you want to create a really supportive Facebook community, I recommend checking out this episode and jumping into theirs. If you are a mom and you have little ones, I would also love if you check out hope&plum's ring slings. We recently got our first one and we absolutely love it. Hope&plum is owned and operated by its two co-founders, Skye and Mallory. They met one another through an online group of women while trying to conceive their children. They noticed an instant connection and have shared a close relationship through the struggles of trying to get pregnant, the joys and difficulties of pregnancy, and navigating first-time parenthood. Mallory introduced Skye to baby wearing, and ring slings quickly became both of their favorite way to carry their children. After struggling to find a ring sling company that fit their beliefs and aesthetics, the two women joined forces to start their own company, and hope&plum was born. They both worked tirelessly after their babies went to bed to source fabrics and build the business you see today. Hope&plum strives to provide products that they believe meet the needs and desires of all parents, grandparents, and caregivers in all shapes and sizes and from all walks of life. They seek to source all of their supplies fairly and strive to use companies and independent contractors who share their love for baby wearing. Mallory is a former banker who left her career after her daughter Selah Plum was born. Even before Selah was born, Mallory knew she would try baby wearing, but once her daughter was born, it was clear she needed to be baby wearing her little one in order to get anything done. The two have enjoyed slinging almost every day since. Hope&plum came around just as Mallory was beginning to miss the fast-paced career life and gives her another outlet to pour her energy into beyond her little family and home. She's also expecting her second child very shortly. Skye works as an attorney by day and mother-wife business owner by night and early mornings. Hope&plum has given her the opportunity to pursue her entrepreneurial spirit while also feeding her passion for baby wearing. Baby wearing is close to her heart as her first daughter, Eleanor Hope, was in the NICU for 2 weeks and Skye was unable to hold her until 3 days after she was born. Baby wearing gave Skye and Eleanor the opportunity to develop the bond that they originally missed out on, and it has been an integral part of Skye's journey through motherhood ever since, including with her second daughter. Make sure you check out their community and their products. We talk about all of that through this episode, and I know that you will love it. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love if you'd leave a rating and a review on iTunes to help other people find the show and to learn how to build businesses that they love and support their way of life. Hi, guys. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
Hi.
So I read your bio and did an introduction before we jumped on, but I would love if you guys could both introduce yourselves and tell us how you met and how you got started in your business.
Absolutely. My name is Mallory Mascoli, and Skye and I met through an app that we were both using when we were both trying to conceive our first kiddos, and we just became fast friends through that. I got pregnant first, and so when Skye got pregnant, I was like, hey, you should try baby wearing, and she was into it anyways, but I was like, ring slings are awesome, and we kind of just embarked upon trying new things together as new parents. And then at some point we decided to start a company together, and ring slings was where we landed. And so far it's been a really fun and wild ride.
Awesome. So you guys started not that long ago. Can you give us a little bit of overview of how things have come along in your business?
Yeah, so this is Skye. When we started, I think, Mallory and I had maybe not two different visions, but I had sort of this huge vision for Hope and Plum. And I've always been kind of the fast force, if that makes it, wanting to go really, really fast and grow really, really fast. And Mallory has been sort of that grounding person who is much more paced than I am in most things in life and in Hope and Plum. But we both have obviously wanted to have sort of this successful company. We are pretty blown away by the last drop. I think that it was pretty unexpected. We're very humbled by it. And we've really just kind of boomed in growth. And a lot of that we can attribute to a lot of help from our social media team that we really appreciate that, and just sort of, our hemp fabrics that we're really well known for. But the growth was sort of, I don't think it's typical for your small business, which can be really difficult. I mean, we've consistently doubled in size since we started. And when we had 4 seasons a year, it was pretty overwhelming sort of to grow that much every 3 months. And so that's why I moved to a 2 season a year model. But it has been such a fun thing to watch and go through, while also we sort of face those challenges together, and we're a really good tag team. And we kind of go back and forth on that. But Hope and Plum has really just, as a company, has really become, I think, a strong name in the ring sling community. And we're really, really proud of it.
Awesome. So I found you guys through a friend of mine who had a Hope and Plum sling, and she posted about it on Instagram. And then I came to find your Facebook community. So we're talking about that community today and how you guys have really built this whole supportive group of people around a product. So I'd love to know, when you started Hope and Plum, did you plan to build a community aspect around it? Or was that something that just developed as you went?
Yeah, we absolutely wanted to build a community. We saw how well it had done for other brands, and also kind of where we wanted to change our, walking into that, how we wanted to make things a little different for our brand. And so we always really wanted that. We made sure to make our community a fun and open place, as well as, making sure that people just, felt comfortable to talk about fit help, felt comfortable to talk about even different brands, comparing us to different brands. We try to keep that as a positive thing and make sure that, everybody knows that it's not just us out there. There's lots of other brands, and we're happy to talk about them. And we just wanted a place where we could say, hey, I'm having trouble with this. Can you help me? Or what worked for you? And just having that community, which I think is so important for moms, especially new moms. It can be kind of isolating being in your house a lot, or, not feeling comfortable taking yourself out and putting yourself out there trying to make new mom friends. And so we wanted to build that community for people and give them an ability to enjoy our products, while also hopefully making friends and having a positive and experience doing that.
That's awesome. And I've noticed inside your Facebook group that it's a whole lot more supportive than a lot of the groups I've been in. And you guys do like buy, sell, trade, as well as the discussion. So how do you keep that supportive environment inside your community when there's so much going on and there's so many different people that are involved?
So I think one big thing is just our own tone. The way Mallory and I, like Mallory was talking about earlier, sort of set the tone, and how we allow trades through other brands if you're trading with Hope and Plum sling. So I think, again, it's more about baby wearing as a concept than it is just about the brand. I mean, that said, we do, have some limitations. Another huge thing for us has been price caps. I think where a lot of things kind of run into issues in other groups, just from the outside looking in, I think that not having price caps and sort of seeing these sort of crazy prices on slings definitely can cause a little bit more negativity in a group. And so I think that, that was a really big thing when we set out, was we didn't want to see slings go for over retail. And so that's where we put in price caps, and we've seen a really positive response from that. I think another thing is just sort of, we're really raw and real with our community. There's no glossing over. If we have an issue, we're pretty open. Not pretty open. We are very open about it. We just try and be really upfront. And I think that there's a lot of value. I mean, it's scary because we are being raw and vulnerable again with sort of our personal lives, with our company and things like that. And so people see a lot of what's going on behind the scenes. And I think that takes a pretty big trust fall. But I think that it's really worked out really well for us as a company and as a community, because people know that who we are, and there's no we don't hide the ball. And so I think that that's something really important. And then that said, we also have some admins, and these are people that we know. We've met personally. We've known them for a while. They've been a part of our brand for almost since inception. And I think that's really important too, is those people share our values, and we're not afraid to kind of speak up. If we see an issue, we try and curb it early on and speak to anyone, and just make sure that everyone's, happy and okay. And so again, I think that that's been a big part of our community. And then also our social media team, again, people that support the brand, support the ideals, and we all have that common shared interest that goes beyond just pretty ring slings. It goes, into the actual baby wearing and mothering aspect, which I think as a mother, it's really refreshing to find that kind of internet community.
Yeah. So you mentioned you have some admins in your Facebook group and you have a social media team. So how does that run day to day? Who does what? How did you decide to take it in that direction?
Desperation. Just kidding.
Yeah. I think desperation might be the wrong word, but there was a definite need that we had to delegate these tasks that Skye and I were facing. Skye is a full-time lawyer, so that was extremely hard for her to balance full-time lawyering and probably more than full-time hope and plum. Let's be real here. I mean, we do this all the time. It's a constant, and it's great. We love it, but there are a lot of things that it's easier to give to somebody else, and we have those capabilities. So we needed to do that in order to be able to continue pursuing hope and plum. And so we have two Karas. We have Kara Hackett and Kara Brockett, and they both handle our Instagram and social media from that aspect. We have Charlene, who takes care of our brand reps and kind of leads that program for us. And then we have Kezia, who's our photographer, who does a lot of our photos, which is fabulous. And then we also have our admins, Carrie and Jennifer, who have been with us for such a long time and are such great women, and we're really happy to know them. And they take care of the kind of day-to-day processes in our community group, allowing us, Skye and I, to comment and just, enjoy the pictures and enjoy the comments and really interact with everybody without having to necessarily remind people, oh, hey, you can't sell other brand slings on here. Or, oh, hey, let's keep this conversation civil, or whatever the case may be. We kind of give that power to them, and it allows us to kind of enjoy things more, I think. And it's really great. And we're really happy with our team and where things are going.
Yeah. I'd love if you guys, I know you said you'd met a lot of these people, you'd known them for a while, but did you bring them on one at a time? And how did you kind of train them to help with the Facebook group as far as what's allowed and what isn't and how to handle things?
So I think for us, when we started getting some explosive growth back in spring, Mallory was sort of getting really close with Kara Hackett, and I was getting close with Kara Brockett, and then it was very organic, and that's kind of how we work. We're pretty organic with how things go, and so I think those two, just by virtue of talking to us privately, started to see this need that we were kind of maybe in denial at the time, or we knew we needed help, but we weren't really sure how to find it. And so, they reached out and they were, like, how can I help? And so then it became a collaborative, and Charlene and Kezia, those are actually people that are local to me that I met. They were our models for our winter shoot. So again, when I was on maternity leave, I got really close with those two because they were local mamas, and, obviously we love ring slings and things like that. So we were hanging out. And so I think it was a community of women that we were close with on a personal level that we met through the brand, but that we really fostered friendships. And I think they just sort of recognized that Mallory and I needed help and we're going to need help as we grew. And so it was really a blessing that they sort of stepped up and were like, how can I help? So the way we approached it, it was interesting. I mean, again, it was pretty organic. Like, Kara Hackett's amazing at stories. It's her creative outlet and she's fantastic at it. Kara Brockett, she does a lot of our caption writing and responding to people. And it's really, it's really great. And she's so creative as well and a great writer. Charlene is just sort of this peaceful presence for me while still being really strong personality. So I figured she'd be a great brand rep manager. Again, she's not afraid to sort of get things done, but she's very eloquent in the way she does it. And I just think she's a really great team leader. And then Kezia is a photographer, and she's just wonderful and sweet. And there's not enough nice things to say about her. And that was obviously her skill to the brand. And so that's sort of how it happened. Again, it's pretty organic, and Mallory and I have always kind of worked that way. I think that's a lot of where our success comes from, is it's not forced. It's really very much something that grows and develops naturally. And I think it's really worked very well for us.
Awesome. And I love that you guys got to know these people and then found what they're talented at and let them do that instead of trying to, say, okay, I've got all these tasks. I need one person to fit that role. You let them do what they're really great at. And so I think we see that on our end because we see really great stories and good captions and the interactions that come from that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it was helpful that we were like, hey, we know you're good at this. Would you be interested in it? Versus us posting, a general, hey, we're looking for somebody to do this, and then try and suss out if that person who had applied was good at it or whatever the case may be. And so I think that it ended up working out really well for us.
All right. So you guys just had a big launch, and I know that your community really helped to promote that. You guys have brand reps, but even just in the group itself, I saw so many people posting and excited about the new slings that were coming out. So why did you decide to do it that way? And how do you organize all of that going on while you're also working on your products and getting the shipping out and all of the kind of behind the scenes stuff of a launch?
I think that our social media team has really helped with that. And they've really put out a lot of fun initiatives to kind of keep people engaged. I think people like Skye and I, and they like our brand and they like our products that we have. And I don't say that to be self-centered or, to have a big ego. It's just that we try really hard to make ourselves accessible as well as our products accessible to everyone. And so I think that resonates with so many people who have felt out of place in other groups or out of place in other brands or whatever the case may be. And so I think that has helped us a lot.
Yeah, and I think that it's interesting. I mean, you see all this hype around launches and it seems like it's orchestrated in a way, but it's really not. I mean, we're really blown away by again, it's organic, right? It's sort of this natural thing that happens. We do have brand reps, so you see those people who are there to answer questions, show colors, and do all of these different things. And same with our team and whatnot. But really, we're always kind of blown away when we're in other groups, baby wearing groups, and we see people who we really don't interact with on the daily or who are not a brand rep who are just so sweet and saying so many nice things and so excited. And again, I think it almost looks orchestrated, but it's not. It really is just sort of a testament to what we've really tried to build. And that is truly a community. And it's so much more than a product to us. And to be honest, that's where it's sort of Mallory, yin and yang, and I really wanted this new product, new brand and all that. And Mallory was really community focused. And I'm so happy with what has come of it. I think that I never expected to find this type of community. And it's just, again, I just love how welcoming everyone is. And I just see so much positivity. And I just think that that's, it's not a byproduct. I mean, it's intentional. And I think that that's a really great thing.
Yeah, I think it sounds like part of the reason why this works so well is because you guys were so intentional about building this community and making sure that it was open and welcoming, and people can feel that it's not something you're doing in order to build the name of your brand. It is really kind of the centerpiece of your business and what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I think that looking to the future, our biggest thing is how to sustainably grow while still maintaining this feel, right? I mean, I think that is the biggest part, or sort of the biggest challenge is as we grow, Mallory's about to have a baby. I went back to work, like we've said, it's kind of hard, for me, sometimes when I'm on a deal. So I'm a corporate lawyer at a very large law firm. And, sometimes I'm working 80 hours a week at my regular job. And so sometimes I get kind of buried and I'm not able to focus as much on the community. But again, that's where we lean on each other, we lean on our team. And so there's always kind of a familiar face. So if you really need help or you really need to reach out to someone, nope. I mean, our community members DM Mallory and I, direct message, sorry. Mallory and I and our our admins. And there's just a level of comfort there that I think is really great. And we really hope to maintain that. And I think another thing that Mallory maybe didn't touch on was also when we set out, Mallory really focused also on size inclusiveness. And I think that that's a really also big part of our community. We have a body positivity movement that's really important, and just making sure that we're inclusive of all sizes and in all of our combinations. We don't pick which fabric should be in long length. We don't assume that we know what your style is. That was also very, very intentional. It was a huge part of when we sort of jumped off. And so again, I think that inclusiveness across multiple levels has been really important and has really created a great community.
Part of what it takes to run a successful online business is having the right tools for the job. I'm sharing a list of all of the tools I use in my business in my toolbox. And you can find that at lemonandthesea.com/my-toolbox to download it now. These include tools that I use for podcasting, designing, running my business, and other things. So you can get a real inside look at everything that I use every day in order to serve my clients well and grow my business. Again, you can find that at lemonandthesea.com/my-toolbox. So I'd love to know kind of what changes you guys have had to make as this community's grown, especially, you said it really exploded back in the spring. So have you had to make changes to the rules or how you run things? How has that looked as it's come along?
I think that we've had to make changes, but they've only been pretty minor. Our group has been really great from the get-go. And so our real changes have been changing our price caps. As our prices have gone up just a little bit, we've had to change that. And then adding in the admins has really helped just to, if the conversation does kind of move in a direction that we aren't looking for, or that we don't ever want to talk bad about any other brands. This is again all about baby wearing and motherhood and parenthood and everything like that. So having the admins come in, because that was a pretty recent thing, has been really great for the community. And yeah, I really don't think that we've had to do too many changes. It's been great. I think that the biggest change for us has been that we've seen just so many more people gushing and being so excited about, their slings that they got, and being excited to have a new sling coming to them and seeing those pictures. So that's been a change, but I think it's been an amazing one.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only other thing that I would chime in on maybe on that is a lot of the reasons I don't think we've had to make changes is because we started with a really strong foundation. So our rules from the get-go, we had, again, a very clear focus when we went into the business, and our rules were set. We had price caps from the beginning. Again, it was very intentional. The community that we were looking to have and foster, it was very much centered around sort of this positivity concept. And so again, we sort of lent ourselves to that with the rules and things like that. So I think having sort of a well thought out plan before just making a Facebook group was very much helpful to that. I mean, it's not perfect, and we have changed rules along the way where we missed something, but to be honest, there's not been very many heavy edits to our rules. And we really do try and keep it we don't censor. We really try not to censor people. Again, we might ask people to edit a sale post, but other than that, we really try and sort of let people have their voice as long as it's a positive one. And so, I think that has been a really big help in not having to change on people. And we hope to sort of just keep it that way for as long as possible.
Yeah. So you guys also have a lot of kind of just motherhood stuff going on in the group. I've seen some threads about toys and book clubs and that kind of stuff. So has that been organic as well? Has that been from the people in the group, or was that something you thought about when you started out?
I think that it's been organic, but we've never said that you can't have off-topic posts in the group. I mean, that's never been a rule of ours. So when people post delete this if it's against the rules, that's never been against our rules. We love those conversations. a lot of the time they help me, and it's nice to hear what people like, what products people are loving, or, you know, how they're handling a situation that I might face down the line or with my next kiddo or whatever the case is. It's really nice to have that camaraderie, and it helps us to get to know people a little bit more too, which I think is it's such an important thing when you're on the internet and you can't necessarily see somebody in person. You get to know them that way. And so it has been organic, and it hasn't ever been something that we've ever had to stifle. And I hope that we never have to get to that point. But yeah, the off-topic posts are lovely, and I think that everybody kind of enjoys them.
So when you guys set out, because you said like it's not against your rules for off-topic posts, you kind of keep them not too rule heavy. How did you guys decide what you were going to include, what you weren't? Did you look at other Facebook groups and what they were doing? Or did you kind of start from scratch for what you thought the community needed?
So we obviously, I was we both were, but I was an addict. Still am. Love ring slings. I have like 45. So we were obviously in other groups, buy, sell, trade, regular community pages. And so we sort of saw, you know, how things were run. And there were things we really liked about certain groups and things we really didn't like about certain groups. Another big community that we're a part of is cloth diapering. So I think that we've been, which is also used to be an addiction, is no longer for me, but that's okay. And so we've seen these sort of like, you know, communities where buy, sell, trade is a big part of it, but so is the community aspect. And so we were sort of dabbling in these different areas. And we're also a part of a really strong, very small though, mom group that through the same app. We met women through the same app, and it's been a very tight-knit community. So I think we looked at all of those things and we sort of created our group from the things we loved from those different groups. We took pieces of these groups and these concepts, and things where we felt like other groups maybe failed us is where we tried to set out to not fail. And again, not to say that they're failures, but just sort of where we felt like it could have been handled differently. And so that's sort of where, and again, there's no right or wrong. I mean, Mallory and I, for us, like, you know, this community is sort of what we would like in the space. And so, and it's great that there's other people that share those visions. So yeah, so it was actually, we didn't necessarily start from scratch, but it is sort of a Frankenstein of all the wonderful things we found in other groups.
Awesome. Have you guys had to deal with any really big issues that have come up as far as negative posts, or does that get cut off pretty quickly with your admins and just the group itself?
I don't think we've had to deal with anything too crazy. Our group is very self-policing. People are really great about, if they see something kind of going sideways, they'll step in and say, hey, we shouldn't be saying this, or we shouldn't be talking about this. And people are also open when we say, hey guys, we're going to have to shut down comments or whatever the case is. It hasn't happened often. I think I can think of one time it's happened. And we explain things. We're very transparent. We're not trying to set out and be super secretive. I mean, there are things that we hold close to the vest because this is a business, and we're trying to succeed and make this something that everybody can enjoy and love for a long time to come. And so I think that our group is really great. And again, the policing, the self-policing by the group, as well as the admins kind of catching things before they start to turn into something bigger, has been really great. And yeah, we haven't really had a ton of negative posts or anything to deal with. And it's a pretty positive environment, I think, the majority of the time. So
yeah, I think that's a testament to the people that you've attracted and just the community you fostered, that it doesn't spiral out of control like I'm sure we have all seen in some places. All right. So I'd love if you guys could each tell me what your favorite part is about this community that you've created.
I think that my favorite part is just, I don't mean this to sound egotistical at all, but when people say how much they love our slings and how much they mean to them, I think that it hits a spot in my heart that I think is, I'm pretty mushy in general, but I think that hearing people say this sling is so amazing and it's helping me to keep my child close while they're having a bad day, or when I need some cuddles too, I think that for me is the best part. I never thought that I would create something or be a part of something that people said that about. And so to have that, I think it just feels so amazing.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's similar. It's so, we have bad days and good days. And there are days where this is really, really hard. I mean, we work a lot and sometimes things don't go as planned and we can get really down or there's a lot of excitement and people are really excited. And then, sometimes we disappoint people, not on purpose, but just by virtue of we can't do something right then, or we sell out of something. But what's really amazing is that people constantly surprise us. They constantly lift us up, when we're feeling bad that something happened or that we can, like a sellout and people couldn't get what they wanted. People would say, oh, I'm so disappointed I didn't get the sling I wanted, but I'm just so happy for Hope and Plum. And that is a true testament to the community because, I've seen things not be as positive in other groups. And so again, just sort of having people that just understand. I think that it's really hard to understand everything that goes into this. And on the bad days, I can turn to the community and it's so easy to be lifted up. It doesn't take long. It takes one scroll and there's a beautiful post of a mom and her baby. And so I think that, that's a really important thing. And I really love that, I always make sure that posts get commented on and I really don't have to do it that much. I do, but I mean that the community really goes out of its way to respond to someone's picture. If someone's having a bad day, people respond and it's important. And so I think that that's so big because you don't know where people are on their journey as moms. And I think that when they turn to the community, even though a post may not seem to you from the outside, it may not be, that quote important, or it may not, have something really heavy on the surface. I think that the positive comments and things like that can really help a mom that may not be fully sharing her story, if that makes sense. And that sort of helps bring people up. I know that, I'm not going to get on and be like a Debbie, I'm really sad today and I'm having a bad day. So here's a picture of my baby, cheer me up. I could just post a picture and people just say all these wonderful positive things. And I think that that's just really awesome. And again, it's sort of this just community that brings everybody up. And I think that that's really amazing.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And it really is such a positive place. And I think we've all been in the world of Facebook groups and not every group is like that. So it's really refreshing to find something where it's kind of an organic feeling that this came together the way it did. I mean, you guys did it intentionally, but it's also the people who have joined and the way that the community has gathered around each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So can you guys give us 3 action steps that if somebody listening could take if they have a product and want to build a community around it?
Yeah, so I'll take this because I'm the type A planner here. So I would say 1, to have a plan. Like we said, I think part of the biggest part of our success in not having to sort of change the rules is having a well thought out plan and establishing what you want to see early on and making sure that your rules are not inflexible, right? So we have rules, but we like to think that they're pretty flexible. And so it makes it so that it's a lot easier. So again, having that plan and thinking through ahead of, potential scenarios is really important. 2, whether or not you're going to have a buy, sell, trade, and depending on the product, and a community. I think it works really well for ours. It gets a little overwhelming. So depending on the product you have, I have a business partner. I would not be able to do this without Mallory. I like to think she couldn't do it without me too. But so if you're, running a product by yourself or a business and have a product, I would highly suggest that you have someone to lean on. You cannot be on the internet 24/7. It's just not healthy. So you need someone that you can lean on when you're having a bad day, when you have something to do, or you want to go on vacation, or I don't know, give birth, it's cool. So having somebody there, at least one person, I think is really important. And then 3, I guess, I don't know if this is an action plan, but if you want to build a community around your product that is about a community, you need to be real. You need to be out there. You can't post your best pictures. You can't gloss over things. You need to be who you are, because how you build a community is by being truthful with those people that you want in your community. And if you only share the good stuff, I think that that's even if your life is perfect, I mean, that's awesome, I guess. But you really do need to show the hard things and the hard days, because I think that is how people connect to you. So, not posting your best picture all the time, or just talking about, sellouts or whatever. I think talking about your struggles and your challenges and showing all sides of you, I think that's really important. And that's how you can build a true community around your product.
All right. So we always wrap up with a couple of questions. And the first one is, can you give us an example of how serving your customers well has benefited your business?
Yeah. I think that our entire community shows how we've served our customers well. I mean, there have been times that we've had to say we can't do this for you. I'm really sorry, but we're always really honest. We're always really transparent, and we do strive to make sure that people feel like they're a valued customer. And I think that shows in just how many repeat customers we have, how many people are loyal to us, and how many people will go to bat for us if somebody says, hey, I heard this, and people will say, no, that's not true, or whatever the case may be. I think that having those loyal customers in our community and in our life just in general has been, we've just done really well with our customer service. And I hope that continues, and I hope that shows through.
Okay. So tell me 2 things you're loving right now. They can be business or life, and you guys can do that however you want.
So for me, what I'm loving is that for business, we've gotten to a point where we're really coming into our own in the creative side, designing fabrics. We've always loved colorways, but we haven't always had the capacity to kind of do a lot of patterns and things like that. And now that we've grown, we're really excited to sort of start branching out and really doing our own thing and coming into our own aesthetic, which people seem to really like, which is good. So that's what I'm really loving right now from a business perspective. And then from a life perspective, I'm just loving having 2 babies running around and having so I think and Mallory's about to have 2 babies, and I'm really excited for her to share in that journey. But so those are 2 things for me.
I would say that my 2 things are right now, the first one is nesting. I am just embracing the nesting lifestyle at the moment, and getting rid of things and refreshing things and getting all the things ready. I feel like 30 weeks came by so quickly. I don't know how I made it to 30 weeks pregnant, and I'm going to have a baby soon again, and getting ready for that has been great. And then I think with business has been, I love seeing everybody wearing the slings that we created just recently, like all the colorways that we came out with, and seeing everybody talk about them and be so excited to get them has just been such a wonderful thing. Especially since I've been underwater trying to get everybody's orders out, which was, I mean, I don't say that in a mean way, just trying to get everything going and getting things out the door. And so seeing everybody's pictures when they get it has been just wonderful, and brightens my day whenever I see anybody post a picture or talk about their new slings. So,
yeah. And another tribute to your community is when you tell people you're getting them out as fast as you can, everyone is super understanding about that.
Yes, they were. I think that it was a shock to us how well everything did, all of our new colors. And so I don't think that we really, I wouldn't say that we didn't think it through. It was just so different from previous seasons that it's been a learning process, but we're getting there, and I'm all caught up now. So we're good.
Okay. So what are you guys excited for that's coming up in the future?
I am so excited about special drops. So this is a new thing for us. We've actually always launched things just within a season. And now we've moved to a 2-season model, which is much more sustainable for us. Now we have special drops, and it's just kind of exciting because it's like we always have something in the works, right? It's like, we dropped fall, but Mallory and I are already, in spring planning mode, if anyone can believe that. And so, but then it's in the next couple of months, there's some special things coming up, and that's just super exciting. So I think it's just kind of like, it never stops. Like the excitement's always going. And that's, I think newer for us, which I'm really excited about. It's exhausting, but I think it's really fun. And so that's the exciting thing for me.
For me, I would say that I'm most excited to sling a newborn again because newborns, they're so light and so little and they smell so good. And I'm so looking forward to that, especially in our slings. Like I got to sling my daughter in our slings, but she's a toddler. So, there was a lot of up and downs and not quite as many snuggles. So it's going to be nice to have that with a newborn.
All right. So where can people find you online if they want to check out the community or they want to, really connect with your product?
I would say that we have two places. So Instagram is actually a huge place for us where we do a lot of posts and sort of stories about things and issues that are really important to us. And we actually connect with a lot of people in that space and on that platform. So we have Instagram, which you can just look up Hope and Plum and will pop up. And then the same for Facebook. So if you want to interact with us in our community, you look up Hope and Plum community, and that will bring you to our page. And then we also have our regular page, Hope and Plum, which is just our business page, which isn't as much of a connection community-wise, but you can always reach out to us there, and we speak to people personally all the time through our chat. So,
all right. Thank you guys so much for coming on the show. It was really fun to talk about this, and I am really excited to see how you guys continue to grow and how these other launches come out, and to see Mallory's baby when pictures pop up in the community.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. I'm excited for the future, for everything, and for those baby photos. I'll post a lot, I promise.
I'm excited too. Yes, thank you so much for having us. We always love to sort of meet new people and talk about new things. So we really appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to Process to Profitability. Please take a minute to leave an honest review in iTunes so that I can help more small business owners and creative entrepreneurs find the show.